What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, Michael or Legacy Kill HD back with another top upcoming games video for you. And today we're going to be looking at some of the best games coming in the early part of 2017. Many of these include huge and vast open worlds to venture through, while others are all about strategy. I do want to mention that any of these games could change release at any time because, well, delays are quite common. But every game listed does have evidence of releasing here in the first few months of 2017. Let me know which upcoming game you're looking forward to the most in the comment section below, and make sure to smack that like button if you enjoy. Nonetheless, let's start here at the number 10 spot with Conan Exiles, which is an open world survival game being developed by Funcom Games. You are an exile, one of thousands cast out to fend for themselves in a barbaric wasteland, swept by terrible sandstorms and besieged on every side by enemies. Here you must fight to survive, build, and dominate. Journey through a vast, seamless world filled with the ruins of ancient civilizations and uncover its dark history and buried secrets as you seek to conquer and dominate the exiled land yourself. I'm convinced that this could be one of the standout games of 2017. The gameplay mechanics and features set up for hours and hours of exploration, building, and PvP interactions. I'm really interested in seeing what these ancient civilization secrets would hold and how this may be an advantage for our character, but overall the idea of creating a kingdom to later being destroyed by a giant god sounds pretty badass to me. To the number 9 spot we have Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. It's an open world tactical shooter video game in development by Ubisoft Paris. The game will move away from the futuristic setting introduced in Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter and will instead feature a setting similar to the original Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. Ubisoft has described it as being one of the biggest open world games that they have ever published, with the game world including a wide variety of environments such as mountains, forests, and deserts. The game is set in Bolivia, which is becoming increasingly unstable as the Santa Blanca drug cartel gains more power and influence to the point where Bolivia has become the world's largest producer of cocaine. The rise in power of these drug cartels concerns the United States government, as Santa Blanca's influence has begun to spread beyond Bolivia. As a result, the United States Army dispatches an elite special operations unit called the Ghost to destroy the cartel and reveal the connection between Santa Blanca and the local government. And when you're not completing missions, players can interact and build friendly or hostile relationships with other non-playable characters, such as the citizens, officials, or the rebels of the world. These interactions require strategy, as interactions will bring consequences and impact the game's world, and change how players can achieve their objectives. To be honest, I really like the aim that Ubisoft Paris has had with this game. At E3 2015, it received a lot of praise, which a lot of game critics praised Ubisoft, saying that it was something that they did not expect from them. Now, my only big worry about this, which is something that I've experienced with a lot of other past Ubisoft games, is that there's not enough to do in the open world, and sometimes even if there is stuff to do, it just isn't that interesting. But with Ubisoft utilizing a new powerful engine, I'm extremely hopeful that they'll be able to create an immersive and fun experience for us. To the number 8 spot we have NieR Automata. It's a third-person RPG developed by Platinum Games and published by Square Enix. It's set in the midst of a proxy war between machines created by otherworldly invaders and the remnants of humanity. The story follows the battles of combat android 2B, her companion 9S, and the obsolete prototype A2. While stated to be a high-action game, the developers have said that it will likely retain the role-playing elements of the original NieR. It is planned to retain the previous game's mixture of gameplay styles. Gameplay is generally focused around melee weapons, but some shooting elements are also planned. Now, admittedly, I've never been too crazy about the Japanese RPG genre, but NieR seems to be an exception, as I did play the original game and I definitely feel like it had quite a few flaws, but it seems to be that Platinum Games have picked up upon all of that, and it seems to be that they've improved upon it in this next installment. And overall, it just seems like Sony cannot stop delivering amazing games, and this may just be one of the best games coming out next year. At the number 7 spot, we have For Honor. It's an online action hack-and-slash video game in development by Ubisoft Montreal. The game features a hand-to-hand combat system described as the art of battle by the developers and allows players to play the roles of historical soldiers such as medieval knights, samurai, and Vikings within a medieval fantasy setting. The competitive multiplayer modes feature a structure similar to that of shooters. The creative director of the game called For Honor a shooter with swords. The multiplayer aspect also allows players to customize their characters. For instance, the gender of the characters and the armor they wear can be changed and modified. There are said to be 5 multiplayer modes: Dominion, Brawl, Duel, Skirmish, and Elimination. And the game will also feature a single-player campaign. And this will be Ubisoft's first try to hack-and-slash video game. This game clearly appears to be centered as a multiplayer game, and I think that the single-player more or less will be a side piece. But from what we have seen, the trailers look amazing, but the combat and gameplay mechanics, which really do matter, look pretty smooth. So I'm really intrigued because this is a different type of game from Ubisoft, and I'm hoping it can be an enjoyable experience that we can play hours with friends. At the number 6 spot, we have Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. It's an open-world first-person tactical shooter in development by CI Games. It takes place in the modern day with a series of conflicts between 3 hostile factions. A proxy war and a civil war in Georgia also begins. In order to prevent another Cold War from happening, players must take control of a retired American Marine named Jonathan North as he proceeds to Georgia to find and eliminate its intruder, with whom he shares a dark past. And the game is based on 3 different pillars: target, execute, and survive. The game will also feature an open world which is scattered with different activities and side missions known as war crimes. CI Games have made a very beautiful world. It's going to be a lot of fun to explore explore it and see what type of side missions will be coming alongside it, and also experiencing the gameplay. It seems like there's a lot of different types of ways that we'll be able to execute each mission, and I'm also hopeful to see if the story does have substance behind it and hopefully gives us a lot of fun. And with this title's budget and scale being extensively expanded, larger than that of its predecessors, this could very much be one of the best shooters coming in early 2017. Now to the top 5, here at the 5 spot we have Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which is a survival horror video game developed and published by Capcom. The game is set in 2017, approximately 4 years after the events of Resident Evil 6 in the fictional city of Dulvey, Louisiana. It features a new protagonist named Ethan Winters, who is a civilian that offers fewer combat skills than most previous Resident Evil main characters. Ethan is in search of his missing wife, which leads him to a plantation mansion, home of the Baker family. And this upcoming game will be played from a first-person perspective, and the player will have access to a variety of weapons including pistols, shotguns, flamethrowers, explosives, and chainsaws in the fight against enemies described as mutant creatures. But the developers have warned that players should not expect to have a gun fest. And some other notable mechanics include puzzle solving, resource management, and healing herbs. Now I have to admit, I've never been too crazy about the Resident Evil franchise in a whole, but this game definitely has my interest, mainly because it seems like Capcom's taken a different direction. This game is really all about horror. And from the gameplay and the demos that we have seen, it looks really creepy and strange. And that's why I think it's going to be a lot of fun to uncover the secrets that are within the Baker family's mansion, and also finding our main character's wife, and who's to say if that story will end up happy. But let me know in the comment section, is this your favorite survival horror game coming out in 2017? But now to the number 4 spot, we have Injustice 2. It's a fighting video game being developed by NetherRealm Studios. Injustice 2 retains numerous gameplay mechanics from Injustice Gods Among Us, including environment interaction, stage transitions, clashes, and character traits. But it will be introducing a loot dropping system known as the Gear System, which offers character-specific costume pieces and equipment with status-altering effects. Injustice 2 will continue the storyline established in Injustice Gods Among Us, following the defeat of High Counselor Superman. The alternate universe Batman and his insurgents attempt to piece society back together while struggling against the remnants of Superman's regime, who seek to restore his rule. And in the midst of the chaos, a new threat appears that puts Earth's existence at risk. I've never been all that into fighting games, but Injustice Gods Among Us was a special gem in 2013 for me. I felt the gameplay was fluid and the storytelling just made the experience much more enjoyable. So I'm extremely excited for the sequel. Hopefully we do get an upgrade in graphics, at least for cutscenes, but the new features that have been noted sets up for this game being the best fighting game of 2017. At the number 3 spot, we have Horizon Zero Dawn. It's an action role-playing video game developed by Guerrilla Games. The plot revolves around Aloy, a hunter and archer who lives in a world overrun by robots. Having been enclosed her whole life, she sets out to discover the dangers that kept her sheltered for so long. Aloy makes use of ranged and melee weapons and stealth tactics to combat the mechanized creatures whose remains can also be looted for resources. The game features an open-world environment for Aloy to explore, divided into tribes that hold side quests to accomplish, while the main story guides her throughout the whole world. Aloy can come across stories that require her to solve individual cases as well. Being made by the Killzone developers, this could be a Game of the Year contender, winning Best Original Game in 2015 and 2016 by the Game Critic Awards and many other awards and nominations. This game is a very unique entry for the post-apocalyptic genre, which is another reason why it's so intriguing. Still, there are many questions lying within the world, such as what happened to civilization and led to the rise of these robotic creatures, but in time we'll get these answers, and this is probably Sony's highlight game of the year. Now, at the number 2 spot, we have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's an open-world action-adventure video game under development by Nintendo for the Wii U and the company's upcoming Switch. The story is set in Hyrule and follows amnesiac protagonist Link, who awakens from a 100-year slumber to a mysterious voice that guides him on a quest to defeat Calamity Ganon. Some of the features include an advanced physics engine, as well as the ability to play through the game's dungeons in any order. Throughout the game, Link will be possessing a piece of technology known as the Sheikah Slate, which provides players with a map and allows Link to create waypoints and investigate enemy stats. By discovering various runes, this technology can be upgraded with various powers, including creating bombs, controlling objects with magnetism, and stopping time around objects and enemies. After facing 2 delays, we should be finally getting our hands on this in early 2017. Having fond memories of this franchise, I'm excited to see the new features implemented, and this could very much be the ultimate Legend of Zelda game we've been waiting for. To the number 1 spot, we have Mass Effect Andromeda. It's an action role-playing third-person shooter video game developed by BioWare. It is the first game in the Mass Effect series to feature an open world, and the game will be taking place 600 years after the events of the first 3 Mass Effect games. In the Andromeda Galaxy, a new protagonist, male or female, who are the children of Alec Ryder, an N7 Special Forces soldier, is designated as a Pathfinder, an operative tasked with discovering a new planet for the human race to colonize, and they will be exploring an open-world galaxy aboard the starship Tempest. Players will be able to pilot the new and customizable 6-wheeled buggy-type vehicle Mako to explore the new planets featured in the game. The game features various planets for players to explore, with each having their own characteristics. Similar to its predecessors, the game features a dialogue tree, choices, romantic relationships with companions, and cooperative multiplayer. Coming in March, the long-awaited next Mass Effect is finally here. Having having the ability to explore each different planet and interact with the unique cultures is going to be a blast. This is one of the best role-playing franchises, so I'm excited for the hours and hours of exploration and immersive gameplay that we'll experience. A lot of gamers have been skeptical of BioWare, but from the looks of this vast open galaxy, this could be one of the best games coming in 2017. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to smack that like button if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value. Also drop down in the comments, tell me what upcoming game in the early part of 2017 are you looking forward to the most and why, and consider subscribing for a lot more additional top upcoming games videos like this, and I'll see you later.